They are the kings of the sky. They are aerial acrobats. They do some of the coolest maneuvers and fly. They're like a F-16 fighter jet, and their song is beautiful. So as they come into roost in the afternoons, you hear, well, in my case, when the nestlings fled, you hear 300 or 400 of these martins singing and soaring and dipping and dodging, and it just is so relaxing. It absolutely just mesmerizes me and puts me in a trance, and it's probably cheaper than therapy. It's a great way to wind down after a day. You know, I come out on the porch with a big glass of ice water, and I sit there and I watch my martins, and all is right with the world. So I started 19 years ago with 6 gourds, and was not able to attract a pair because of an invasive species, the English house sparrow. So I started trapping and eliminating them, which is totally legal. They're not protected by the Migratory Bird Treaty Act. And the next year I successfully attracted 4 pairs. And then the obsession started because I enjoyed watching them so much and enjoyed listening to them. The next year I had 33 pairs. The next year I had 72 pair. And by the 4th year I had 102 pairs. I actively manage my colony. Most landlords don't. They don't have any idea what's going on inside their gourds, but I've involved my kids since they were this big. We do nest checks every week while the birds are here to count the eggs, count the nestlings, check for problems, check for mites. You know, birds will die inside the gourd. They need to be removed. I have predator guards on my poles. Most people do not. For some reason, people think a 6-foot gray rat snake can't climb a steel pole. They can. So can raccoons, so can feral cats. I use our electric fence for the farm. That's what my predator guards are attached to. I've never had it breached. There's a lot of purple martins in Alabama, but there aren't a lot of managed purple martins in Alabama. There's not nearly as many colonies now as there were 20 years ago. When I first started, I could have taken you to 10 different colonies within a 5-mile drive of here that had anywhere from 50 to 100 pairs. None of those colonies are in existence anymore. It seems like there's not as many people getting into it as they used to be. Almost every farm had purple martin gourds. They do eat a ton of flying insects. That's all they eat is flying insects, but they eat a lot of bad ones. Like, I never have horseflies here anymore. We got cattle, we should have horseflies. The squash bugs in my garden are much less than they used to be. My garden, as you can see, is directly where my gourd racks are. They eat winged fire ants. So as fire ants go try to start a new colony, they eat a lot of those. They eat a lot of bad bugs. They also eat a lot of good bugs. You know, once you get them, you're gonna fall in love with them, and you're gonna want everybody to know about them, and you're gonna want everybody to have them. But that's not gonna happen. As long as you don't have trees in your yard, it doesn't matter if you live in town, it doesn't matter if you live out in the country. As long as you've got an open area, you can attract purple martins.